The battlefield was silent, but the silence didn't bring peace. It was the kind of silence that came after destruction, after smoke, after screams. Broken ships lay across the rocky plain like scattered bones. Burned-out armor units still hissed with heat. The ground itself was cracked from plasma fire and brute force. Sergeant Joel Maddox stepped carefully over the wreckage, his rifle held low but ready. His boots crunched on blackened dirt as he moved toward the last signal point. His team was gone. All 8. They had sent out a distress call, and then everything went quiet. He wasn't sure what he was walking into. But he knew he couldn't leave without knowing. Then he heard it. A deep growl, low, heavy, like thunder trapped underground. He froze and scanned the ridge ahead. The ground trembled. And then something stepped out of the smoke. It wasn't a tank. It wasn't a machine. It was alive. The creature was massive, four-legged, with thick, armored hide, glowing eyes, and teeth the size of knives. Strange markings ran across its skin, and its breath came out like steam. Its body pulsed with unnatural energy, each movement slow and powerful. But it didn't attack. It stopped in front of him and stood still. Then came the voice. She walked behind the creature, tall, alien, graceful. Her armor shone dark purple, and her cloak flowed behind her like mist. Her face was smooth, almost human, but her eyes glowed silver, and her presence felt cold. She raised her hand. The beast growled but didn't move. Her voice cut through the smoke like a blade. Kneel, human, or be devoured. Joel didn't move. His heart pounded, but his feet stayed firm. His instincts told him to run. But his mind said something else. She studied him. I gave you a command. He looked at the creature, its jaws half open, teeth dripping with saliva. One word, and it would rip him apart. Still, he didn't kneel. She took a slow step closer. You defy me? I don't kneel to monsters, he said. A flash of emotion crossed her face, surprise, maybe, or interest. The creature stepped forward. Its breath brushed his face like heat from a furnace. Joel raised his rifle slightly, not to fire, but to show he wasn't backing down. I didn't come here to kneel, he said. I came here to find my squad. She lowered her hand. The beast paused. They are gone, she said coldly. They attacked first. They paid the price. You killed them? They chose war. Joel's hands tightened on his rifle. She circled him slowly now. You are brave. Or stupid. I've heard both. You know what I am? Some kind of warlord? She smiled faintly. I am Commander Thalene of the Zerakai Dominion. This is my hunting world. You and your kind are trespassing. Joel didn't look away. We were given clearance to land for rescue and recovery. That's not my concern, she said. This planet is mine now. And you are food. Or a servant, he smirked. You really think I'll choose either? Her eyes narrowed. Then you'll die. The beast growled again, louder this time, one massive paw scraping the ground. But again, she didn't give the command. Instead, she tilted her head slightly. You didn't run. You didn't beg. You didn't even shake. Strange. Joel looked up at the beast. It's ugly. Feline laughed a short, sharp sound. He's older than your race. Smarter too. Joel stared at her. Then why doesn't he kill me? She paused. I wonder that myself. She stepped back. Walk with me, human. He didn't lower his rifle. Why? Because you're not like the others. He glanced again at the beast. It stared back, unmoving. If I say no? One word, she said, and you'll vanish into its stomach. Joel sighed. Fine, but I don't kneel. I wouldn't ask you to anymore. They walked across the battlefield, side by side, man, alien, and beast. The war wasn't over. But something unexpected had begun. Joel walked beside her with slow, careful steps. The alien commander moved like she owned the ground beneath her, confident and silent. Her beast followed close behind, massive, patient, and alert. Its claws dug into the dirt with each step, but it made no sound. Every part of Joel's mind told him this was insane. He should have fought. He should have run. But instead, he walked. Not because he trusted her, but because something didn't add up. She said his squad attacked first, but that wasn't like them. "Tell me what happened," Joel said finally. "The truth." Commander Thalion didn't answer right away. She led him through a narrow path between broken structures. Tall metal beams bent from past explosions, and green alien moss grew across abandoned ship parts. "They landed without warning," she said at last, "in a forbidden zone. My patrol warned them, but they fired." Joel frowned. "That's not what I was told." "They didn't believe my warning," she said, glancing at him. "They saw me, saw the beast, and panicked." "Wouldn't be the first time humans misjudge something," Joel muttered. "You're different," she said. "You didn't panic." Joel looked around. "Where are we going?" She pointed to a large hill ahead, topped with a crumbling tower. "The place your people died." He stopped walking. "You're showing me their graves?" "I'm showing you what their fear caused." He stayed still for a moment. "And if I don't like what I see?" "You'll still see it," she said. Truth doesn't wait for approval. They reached the top of the hill. The wind was stronger there. The tower stood broken, but the platform gave a clear view of the land below. And there, just at the edge of a ridge, were 8 helmets placed in a row. Joel's heart sank. He stepped forward slowly. Each helmet had been cleaned, placed with care. Their dog tags lay beneath them, and strange white stones circled the display in a symbol he didn't recognize. "I didn't expect this," he said quietly. "They were enemies," Thalion replied. "But they were also soldiers. I honor those who fight with purpose." Joel turned to her. "You honor your enemies?" "I honor their strength. I don't need to enjoy their choices to respect their courage." He looked at her differently now. She was still dangerous, still proud. But there was something deeper under her armored discipline, maybe even pain. "Why show me this?" he asked. "Because I want you to understand what happens when fear speaks louder than reason." He nodded slowly. "You think I'm different from them? You haven't attacked me. You didn't kneel. You asked questions." Joel looked out across the hills. "And what happens now?" "That depends on you," she said. "There is something coming. Something darker than any war between us. You sound like you know something we don't." She stepped closer. "Your people think they're alone in this part of space. But they're not. My scouts have seen the signs. A creature beyond reason. It eats planets." Joel turned his head. "That sounds like a story. I wish it was." She pointed toward the north. "That way lies the edge of the star field. 3 systems have already gone dark." Joel looked up at the gray sky. "So what are you doing about it?" "I'm gathering strength," she said. "Preparing what?" I need armies. I need warriors who can think, who don't break under fear." He faced her again. "You want me to fight for you?" "I want you to fight with me." Joel gave a short laugh. "You really think humans will trust a beast queen?" "No," she said. "But they might trust you." Silence stretched between them. The wind blew through her hair, and the beast sat behind her like a silent guardian. Joel looked once more at the helmets, then at her. "I'm not kneeling," he said. "I wouldn't respect you if you did." He took a deep breath. "Then tell me what you need." She smiled, not wide, not warm, but real. And in that moment, something changed. Not peace, not yet, but something close to a beginning. Joel followed Commander Thalion down the far side of the hill. The beast walked behind them, quiet as ever, its glowing eyes watching every movement. The wind had shifted. The air smelled like coming rain, and scorched metal dot below the hill lay a camp alien in design, but not hostile looking. There were tents made from dark flexible plates, glowing cables woven between structures, and soldiers of different species moving in silence. Some sharpened weapons. Others studied floating maps. They all paused when they saw Joel. Many looked at him with distrust. A few with curiosity. One drew a blade slightly, but Thaleen raised her hand and he backed down. "They don't like me," Joel said under his breath. "They don't like any human," she replied. "Because of the war?" "Because of what came before it," Joel raised a brow. "What's that supposed to mean?" Thaleen didn't answer. She led him into a large tent near the center of the camp. Inside was a circular room lit by a soft red glow. In the center hovered a large holotable showing the starfield. Red dots blinked. Whole systems were dimmed out. "What are those dark sectors?" Joel asked. "Dead space," she said. "Planets gone silent. Not from war, from something else." She pointed to one of the blinking red zones. "This system was stable 6 months ago. Now no signals, no ships returned, not even wreckage." Joel leaned closer. "We've seen ghost readings too. Our intel teams think it's a natural collapse." Thaleen shook her head. "It's not natural. I've seen one up close." Joel turned. "You've seen it?" "Only the edge. My scout ship was torn apart seconds after contact." "What did it look like?" "It didn't have a form. Just blackness, like the sky opened and started breathing." Joel's jaw tightened. "So that's why you're building this army?" "Not to conquer," she said. "To survive." Joel walked slowly around the map. "And the amplifier?" "The mental link device you mentioned. It's real?" She nodded. "Buried deep in the ruins. It was left behind by a race older than mine. It links minds, not just thoughts. Emotions, fears, strength. It makes soldiers fight as one. And you want humans in that link?" "I want fighters who don't fall when the beast roars." Joel smirked. "So I passed the test?" "You stood in front of the beast and didn't kneel." "Yes, that matters." He looked down. "You're asking a lot. My people don't trust yours. They trust you," she said. "And you trust your kind more than I do." Joel looked up slowly. "So what exactly do you want me to do?" She walked over to the console and pressed a sequence. A panel on the floor opened. Inside was a glowing silver disc set into a strange chair with coiled wires and alien symbols. It pulsed with low energy, like a heartbeat. "This is a test link. Safe. Limited. I want you to sit in it." Joel blinked. "Now?" "Yes," he hesitated. "What happens when I do?" "You'll feel what I feel. Just a glimpse. No lies. No tricks." Joel looked down at the chair. Then at her. "You trust me with this?" "I trust the amplifier to show you the truth." He stepped forward. "If I sense anything wrong, you walk away," she said. "No harm." Joel nodded. Once and sat. The machine came alive with soft light. Wires reached toward his temples without touching him. Then silence. And then suddenly he saw her. Not her face, but her pain. A battlefield, fires, her people falling. A command she gave that caused too many deaths. Her regret, her loneliness, her desperation. And the image of the void swallowing a moon-sized station without sound. He gasped. Then it was gone. The lights faded. The chair powered down. Joel opened his eyes. She was still standing there, and she looked tired. "You saw it," she said. He stood slowly. "You're not lying." "No." He stepped forward, voice lower. "You really think the amplifier can hold us together?" "It has to." Joel looked around the room. His world had changed again. No longer a war between species, but a fight to stop something worse. And for that, he'd need her. And her monster. Joel stepped out of the tent. The memory of what he saw inside the amplifier still fresh in his mind. The pain, the fear, the silence of dead systems, it all stayed with him, like a weight pressing on his chest. And now, for the first time, he didn't just believe Commander Thaleen. He understood her. The alien soldiers in the camp still eyed him with suspicion, but none stepped in his way now. Word had already spread he had connected to the amplifier. And survived. That meant something here. Feline followed him, her long cloak brushing the dusty ground behind her. Her beast walked beside her, silent, alert, and loyal. Joel looked at it. He had once seen it only as a threat, but now it looked like something else, something ancient, something aware. They reached the edge of the ridge where Joel could see the burned valley beyond. "What do we do next?" he asked. "We prepare," she said. "For war?" "For contact," she replied. "The amplifier's pulse has been sent out. Others felt it. Some are coming. Others like you?" "Some like me," she said. "Others not so kind." Joel raised an eyebrow. "You expect enemies to answer your call." "Not all power attracts allies," she said simply. That evening, 3 ships arrived, small, light-class transports with mismatched parts and painted hulls. Joel stood beside Feline as they landed in a swirl of dust. Alien warriors stepped out tall, armored, silent. One approached, eyes locked. "On Joel, this is your human?" The warrior asked in a sharp voice. "He is," Feline answered. "He connected." The warrior studied Joel, then nodded once. "Then he speaks for more than himself." Joel stepped forward. "I speak for those who haven't seen what's coming, and I know now. If we don't stand together, we'll all fall apart." Later, inside the main chamber, a strategy meeting began. More commanders appeared on the projection table, some via transmission, others in person. There were humans too. A few officers from the nearest colony system, responding to Joel's earlier warning. Their faces were skeptical but serious. A human officer, Colonel Reyes, leaned forward. "Let me get this straight. You're saying we linked minds with aliens, some we've fought before, using a machine built by a dead race, to stop a threat we haven't even seen clearly?" Joel didn't flinch. "Yes, I've seen pieces of it through the link. I felt it. This thing doesn't attack for control. It destroys everything." Feline added, "Your soldiers won't survive it with guns alone. But if they move as one mind, one purpose, it might have a chance." Reyes shook her head. "You're asking us to trust a woman who can command a monster with a glance." "I did," Joel said. "And I'm still alive." Another officer asked, "And this beast, what role does it play?" Feline looked at her companion. "He was bonded to the amplifier's energy long ago. His kind were once protectors, not weapons. This one remembers." The beast turned its glowing eyes to the room. No growl. No threat. Just presence. Silence followed. Reyes finally sighed. "We'll send word to command. But if they say..." "No," Joel answered her before she could finish. "Then I'll still stand here, even if it's alone." More silence. Then, slowly, other heads nodded, one by one. The start of something fragile but real. That night, as the wind howled outside the tents, Joel sat by a small fire with Feline and the beast resting behind them. The stars were few in the sky now. Whole sectors were already gone. He looked at her. "Do you think we can really stop it?" "I don't know," she said. "But I know we can't win with fear. And we can't survive by standing apart." Joel threw another stick into the fire. "Then let's stay standing." She nodded once. And in that quiet moment, the human and the beast queen didn't feel like enemies anymore. They felt like the first 2 pieces of something new. Something the darkness might not expect. At dawn, the sky turned a deep shade of red. Joel woke early. The cold wind blew through the alien camp as if warning them something was coming. Lights flickered across tents, soldiers moved in silence, and some stood in small groups near the edge of the cliff, looking to the horizon. Something had changed. He found Feline already standing near the ridge, her eyes fixed toward the distance. Her beast sat beside her, calm but alert, tail slowly swaying. Its sharp ears were twitching, picking up sounds too quiet for human ears. Joel stepped beside her. "You feel it too?" She nodded. "The pulse we sent out, it reached something." Something close. Joel stared ahead. He saw nothing at first, only rock, broken ground, and dust in the wind. Then, far-off movement. Shadows sliding across the ridges, too smooth, too fast. "They're here," she whispered. "What are they?" "Scouts from the void. Not full forms, just fragments." Joel instinctively reached for his sidearm, though he knew it wouldn't be enough. "What do we do?" Thaleen turned. "We hold the line. We show them we are not afraid." Words spread. Quickly, troops gathered, both alien and human, shoulder to shoulder. Some adjusted their armor. Some simply stared at the coming darkness with tight jaws. A few muttered prayers in languages Joel couldn't understand. In the center of the formation stood Thaleen, tall and still. The beast beside her gave a low, deep rumble, then rose to full height, muscles tense. Joel looked up at it and asked, "You ready?" The creature turned its glowing eyes toward him for a moment, and nodded. Then the shadows hit. They didn't roar. They didn't scream. They simply moved like black smoke given shape. Fast and sharp, clawed limbs cutting through air and light. The soldiers didn't wait. Blasters fired, plasma blades flared, and shields rose. The fight began in silence and chaos. Joel ran forward, heart pounding, keeping close to the line. Void creature lunged toward him, and he dropped low, fired once, twice. The second shot cracked its outer shell, sending it back with a hiss. A human soldier beside him fell, but an alien warrior pulled the man up, covering him with her curved blade. No one cared about species now, only survival. The beast leapt into battle with Thaleen riding it like a queen of war. Its claws tore into the creatures with wild fury, but it was clear they were outnumbered. Joel saw it, one of the dark forms slipping behind the ranks, heading for the amplifier core station. If that core was destroyed, the mental link would never work. Without thinking, Joel broke formation and ran. He reached the core station, where two guards were already down, their bodies twisted unnaturally. The air was colder here. Too cold. Another shadow creature hissed from the far side, lunging toward the machine. Joel raised his weapon but hesitated. This one looked different. Taller, more solid. It had eyes, empty white lights staring directly at him. He aimed for the head and fired. Nothing. The shot passed through like mist. Then it moved. Joel barely dodged as claws ripped the wall beside him. He rolled, slammed a second battery into his weapon, and shouted into his cum, "Thaleen, one of them is inside." "I can't hurt it." Her voice crackled back, calm but sharp. "Don't fight it directly. Break the link anchor. Look for the core crystal." Joel spun around. A panel was pulsing on the wall behind the beast, blue and bright. He ran for it. The shadow turned, screeched, and lunged. Joel didn't stop. He jumped, hit the panel with both fists, and ripped the crystal loose. There was a burst of light. Creature let out a soundless shriek and vanished in a swirl of dark vapor. Joel dropped to one knee, breathing hard, crystal still glowing in his hand. "Core safe," he said into the cum. A moment later, Thaleen's voice returned. "Then we still have a chance." Outside, the battle was slowing. The shadows began pulling back, fading into the wind like they were never real, but they had been real. Too real. Joel stepped out of the station and saw the camp again, burned, broken, but standing. The troops cheered weakly. A few cried. A few stood in shock. And the beast was kneeling beside Thaleen, wounded but alive. She turned to Joel. "You saved the link." He looked at her. "We're still breathing. That's what matters." She gave a tired nod. That was only a taste of what's coming. Joel glanced at the dark sky. "Then we better be ready next time." And in his hand, the crystal still glowed. Asterisk. The next few days were quiet, but the air felt heavy with tension. The enemy had retreated, but not defeated. Everyone in the camp knew that. It wasn't over, it was only a pause. Joel sat inside the command tent, the glowing crystal resting on the table in front of him. He couldn't stop staring at it. It pulsed like a living heart, soft blue light shining every few seconds. "Are you sure this thing's safe?" he asked. Thaleen nodded from across the table. "It's safe now. You broke its connection to the shadow creature, but the power inside it, it's ancient. And dangerous if misused." Joel rubbed his eyes. "Feels like everything around here is dangerous." Thaleen gave a small smile, but her face was tired. Her beast was resting near the edge of the camp, its side wrapped in bandages. Even it wasn't strong enough to avoid injury forever. "We need more help," she said. "More than what we have here." Joel agreed. "I sent a message through the human command relay. Reinforcements may come, but it will take days." "We don't have days." Thaleen stood up and walked to the tent opening. "Then we move first." Joel followed her gaze. She was staring toward the dead valley, the place the void creatures came from. The land was black and dry, like it had been drained of life. And in the center of it, far away, something was glowing, faint red, like an open wound. "That's where they're gathering," she said. "And that's where we must go." Joel stared at her. "You want to march straight into that?" "No," she said. "I want to sneak in." They gathered a small team. 4 alien warriors, 2 human scouts, Joel, Thaleen, and her beast. It still limped slightly, but insisted on coming. Before they left, Thaleen touched the crystal again and gave it to Joel. "Why me?" he asked. "Because it responds to you," she said. "And because if I fall, someone has to carry it." They left the camp at night. No lights, no engines. Just footsteps through the dust and silence. The path into the valley was strange. At first, it was just dry land. But soon, the ground began to feel wrong. Softer, hollow, like walking over something that breathed below. Joel tightened his grip on his weapon. The beast made a low growl, sensing something near. One of the scouts raised a hand. "Stop." Everyone froze. The scout knelt, brushed away dust, and found a bone. Not fossilized, fresh. Too fresh. Thaleen's voice was quiet. "They've been feeding." Joel stepped back, eyes scanning the dark. "On what?" But no one answered. As they moved deeper, the red glow ahead grew brighter. Soon, they saw the source, a massive crater filled with pulsing veins of light. In the center stood a spire, black and sharp, like a tooth stuck into the earth. Around its shadow creatures crawled, fused with the ground like they were growing out of it. "This is their anchor," Thaleen whispered. "It's not just a base, it's alive." Joel frowned. "Can we destroy it?" "No, but we can weaken it." She pointed to the base of the spire. There was a narrow path, guarded by 2 void beasts larger than the ones they fought before. Guarding something important. Joel looked down at the crystal in his hand. "This thing got their attention last time. What happens if we push it into the heart of that spire?" Thaleen hesitated. "It may sever their link. Or it may wake something worse." Joel nodded slowly. "And let's hope for the first one." The team moved quickly. The scouts fired suppressing shots while the beast charged, roaring louder than ever before. Joel and Thaleen ran for the base of the spire, dodging claws and shadow. One void beast lunged at Joel, but Thaleen spun with her blade, slicing its limb and driving it back. Her arm was bleeding, but she didn't stop. They reached the base. The spire pulsed, red light flashing fast now, like it knew. Joel took a breath. He held the crystal tight, then shoved it into the core crack of the spire. The ground screamed. Not the people, the ground. Everything trembled. The creatures howled in pain. The red light turned wild, flickering in and out. Feline grabbed Joel and shouted, "Run!" They sprinted back toward the ridge where the others were retreating. The beast met them halfway, lifting them both onto its back, bounding away just as the spire let out one final pulse and exploded in a pillar of blue and red fire. They didn't stop until they were clear. From the top of the cliff, Joel turned and saw the crater. It was still smoking. The spire was gone, but the sky above it had changed. No stars, just a whole dot, as if space itself had been ripped open. Joel stared. What, did we just wake up? Feline's face turned cold, the one who created the shadows. And her beast, silent for hours, let out a low rumble. Even it was afraid. The sky stayed dark, even when the sun should have risen. Joel stood at the edge of the ridge with the others, staring at the crater below. The spire was gone, but in its place was a swirling black hole, calm but endless. The enemy hadn't vanished. It had changed. The link crystal in Joel's pocket had gone cold. Dead. He looked at Feline. Her eyes were fixed on the sky. She didn't speak. She didn't blink. Her beast stood next to her, breathing slowly, watching the dark. What happens now? Joel finally asked. She answered quietly. The real war begins. That same day, command ships from both the human fleet and the alien alliance finally arrived. They expected to help defend the ridge. Instead, they found silence, smoke, and a broken sky. Admirals and high generals came to the front. They asked questions, demanded answers. Joel told them what happened. Every word. When they asked who led the defense, he pointed to Feline. And when they asked how they survived the explosion, he simply said, "We didn't fight alone." But the High Council didn't care about stories. They cared about what came next. The scientists who studied the sky called it a rift, something older than any recorded species. Something sleeping for 1,000 ages, and now it was aware. Some said it was a god. Others said it was a wound in reality. Joel didn't care what name they gave it. He only knew it was coming. 2 days later, a message reached the ridge. A transmission, part signal, part language, part scream. No one could translate it. But Feline understood. It's not a threat, she said. It's a challenge. That night, as the stars vanished one by one, the entire ridge lit up with distant fires. Shadow creatures were crawling again, thousands of them. But they didn't attack. They waited. Joel stood by the beast, now armored and scarred. Feline walked beside him in silence. "They're testing us," Joel said. She nodded. "They want to see if we run." He looked at her, then at the troops behind them, soldiers, medics, engineers, aliens, humans, wounded fighters still holding their weapons. No one's running. Joel said. The next day, he made a decision. He would lead a mission across the broken land into the dead zone toward the heart of the rift. Not to destroy it, but to speak to whatever waited inside. They couldn't win by firepower. They had to understand it. Feline agreed to go. Her beast too. But just before they left, something unexpected happened. The beast stopped at the camp border. It turned toward Joel. Then gently, it bowed. Joel was confused. "What's it doing?" Feline smiled. "Just barely. It bows only to leaders, and only once." The soldiers around them watched in silence. Then, one by one, they saluted. Joel took a deep breath and walked forward. They crossed the valley again. This time not sneaking, not hiding. The shadows parted as they passed, clearing a path toward the rift. At the edge, Joel stopped. The air was cold, thick, like breathing dust in time. The rift pulsed slowly. Inside, he saw images, not shapes, not faces, but feelings. Fear, hunger, memory. Something was waiting inside. Something that remembered everything. Joel stepped forward. Feline touched his arm. "Are you sure?" He looked at her. "If we don't go in, we'll never know what we're really fighting." Together, they entered the rift. There was no pain, No fire. Just silence. And then, light. Inside, time didn't work the same. Seconds felt like hours. Thoughts became sound. The presence inside. The rift wasn't the monster, it was curious. It spoke to Joel, not in words, but through pressure in his chest, echoes in his mind. Why do you resist? Joel answered aloud, because we're human. Why do you protect the weak? He said, because we were weak once too. Why do you stand beside her? He turned to Thaleen. She looked at him, calm and strong. Because she stood beside me. There was silence again. Then the light faded. Joel blinked and found himself standing back on the ridge. The sky was still, the rift was gone. Thaleen stood next to him, still breathing. And her beast roared not in fear, but in triumph. The troops below cheered. No battle came. No death followed. The enemy had left. Joel never knew why the presence changed its mind. Maybe it understood them. Maybe it saw something in humanity and in Thaleen's people that was worth keeping. But whatever the reason, the war was over. And real peace began. From that day forward, Joel and Thaleen became symbols of what could be. A human who didn't kneel. An alien queen who didn't command death. And a beast that once waited for a single word, but chose silence instead.